So we all know the importance of being able to recreate looks that your client brings into you. So that's why this new series is so crucial. So this is a grown out slice and smudge, but it was actually like a global blonding slice and smudge, but you can see how it grew out and that there were no hard lines. But obviously the picture that I just showed you of Khloe Kardashian is not a global blonding. There is some dimension. So here's what we're gonna do. We are gonna go in and we are gonna do slices. So I'm going to be doing dimensional slice and smudge placement, but I'm starting on the sides because we need a lot of lift. So we are going to start on the side of the head, and then we are going to do the mohawk. So we're just gonna do horizontals up the sides. I am using the Magix 10, 9+ levels of lift. And I'm just starting out with 12 volume, then I'm gonna go up to 20, and then I'm 21, and then I'm gonna go up to 32 at the very end, because 30 volume in foils is not generally the best idea, but if it only sits for a short amount of time, it's okay. So on this side, I started, so I'm also going to be doing like some lowlights that I bring down halfway, but on this side of the head, I had started it, I decided to go in later because I used the 10-minute color. So I did that one, and then I was like, I better just go in later with it because it only needs to process for 10 minutes. So it doesn't make sense for me to put it in now. So what you need to do is, so if you look at the mohawk in the picture of Khloe Kardashian, you could see that there is dimension throughout. Now all of her ends are bright. If all of her ends were not already bright, we would need to tip those out. So we would need to backcomb in between the slices just to get all of those ends nice and bright. Now here's the caveat here. Her ends are already bright, but if we don't want there to be sort of like a gap where it just goes into like solid blonde, we are going to need to blur out a little bit of that blonde like through the mids. So I will pop in some low lights later on. So I'm just going to work horizontally up the sides, and then the mohawk is going to be vertical, and I'm just going to be working horizontally up the back as well, cycling out my lightener as always. So I'm just leaving out that section where we are going to do our mohawk. Now here's the deal. I could have stopped going up the side of the head horizontally a while back because I'm using wide foils, and it would have made the process go by so much even faster. I think that I actually went up too far, and that's okay. Like, you just live and learn. It doesn't make a difference. I just could have saved extra time. Now this only took 2.5 hours from start to finish, but I'm saying it could have been less than that. And now I'm going to work vertically through the mohawk and just do little slices. I know that a lot of people are going to ask me how much hair I left out in between. Just try to use, like, just try to look, because it's too hard to actually like make a description of that. But I'm not leaving out much hair in between each section. I'm going pretty close together. And again, I'm going to be breaking them up a little bit with low lights because I don't want it just look like it's dimensional and then block of blonde. And yeah, I'm just doing little slices, but you can see that they could have been wider. I guess if I had to guess how much hair I'm leaving out in between, it would be like, I don't know measurements. So I'm gonna work all the way vertically through that mohawk, and then I'm gonna go underneath and continue my slice and smudge. And by underneath, I pretty much just mean the nape of the neck. Also, just so you know, I'm using the Fremar Big Papa foils. I really love these, but if you can't get a hold of these foils, you can use food service foils. Reynolds are fine. 4 Pro foils on Amazon are also good. They're just foil sheets. All right, so I'm sorry. If you hear my mom whispering in the background, it's because I told her please to stop talking while I'm doing a voiceover. We're on vacation, and she just literally cannot control herself. She can't do it. But anyways, so I'm going to, so the only variation that you're really going to see up in that mohawk is that I'm going to do slices back to back up here for the money pieces. So I'm doing 3 back to back slices here. I'm not going that thick with my slices. And that's been throughout. I probably wish that I would have gone just a smidge thicker on the slices, but I didn't, and it turned out absolutely beautiful. But sometimes, you know, like, I'm always trying to learn and critique myself and see how I would improve and do it differently next time. But I wouldn't say I'd be able to read through the slices that I'm taking, but I would be able to you know, kind of see through them a little bit. So now I'm doing gaps again, and I'm just repeating that. So you can kind of see like the thickness of the slices I'm taking. Now, when I go in and do my lowlights, I'm going to be using a 631. I am literally just staggering those down right below where it becomes that solid block of blonde. Mom, please stop. So when I'm going in and I'm doing the low lights with 631, I'm using Magix 10, and so you know that processes quickly, and that's why I chose to do it. It's not going to continuously get darker. It is just going to process, but I thought it would be a better use of my time to pop those in quickly while the blonde was processing, because, you know, it's just about being the most efficient. I'm going to use my Vellon comb to weave in some low lights. And for those of you that don't know what a Vellon comb is, it just does the weave for you so that you don't have to do it yourself, but it would be really just as easy for you to do it yourself. Well, not just as easy, but easy enough. Also, at this point, I'm using 21 volume, and by the time we get to the back, I switched it up to 32 volume because it's not going to be sitting for that long, and yeah, I wanted it to all lift even. Okay, so now I'm gonna start weaving in those low lights. They are 6.3, but just watch how I stagger it down. I am not pulling it down all the way. I just wanna kind of blur that out so that it doesn't happen abruptly to go from dimensional to just straight up blonde. So I just had to touch that one up there. So I'm just staggering it. And you just wanna be careful not to bleed it onto the other section. So just keep in mind what you're doing. Now, if I wasn't using a color that processed in 10 minutes, then I wouldn't have done it this way. I would have done it with the highlights at the same time, but because I'm using 10-minute color, I'm doing it this way. I really just didn't want it to process for too long. Even though it wouldn't have gotten super dark, I just wanted to avoid it sitting for that long. So that's why I'm going in between now. And like I said, I just thought that that would be the most efficient way. So now we're going to do her smudge. Even though her natural level is a 5, I would say we're doing it with a 6 True Neutral. And you can smudge a level lighter as long as it's like a cream-based demi and you're going to get the good coverage that you need. But I only really want to blur out these lines. I don't need like full, complete coverage as I do with some of the other type of techniques that we do. So I'm doing this, the 600 in the True Neutral, and I'm just smudging it out with the 0 time system brush. And then I am going in. Also, let me be clear, I'm really just tapping the roots here. I'm not like bringing down the smudge or anything like that. And then I'm gonna blend the toner up into it. And for the toner, I'm just using 9.5 sand. And so 9.5 S, which is yellow green, the base. So the video of me applying the toner somehow got deleted, but this is the finished result. It looks pretty spot on. Yeah, I just blended it right up into that root tap, the 9S, and I used Fix, which is 6 volume, and she loves it.